Isn't it funny how some things just never seem to go out of style?
Hmm. Yeah, like what?
Well, we're talking about gold today.
Mm.
The stuff of kings and pirates and, well, your portfolio too, apparently.
Oh, right. Yeah, gold.
You were way ahead of the curve on this one. You sent over all that research about gold kind of going crazy this year.
Yeah, I was curious. Figured it was time for a deep dive.
You weren't wrong. After digging through all of this, it's, well, crazy might actually be an understatement.
Yeah, gold's definitely having a moment. It's kind of wild, right?
What I think is really interesting is what's behind it all. It's this whole mix of, the global economy, world events, even like a little bit of future tech thrown in there.
It's true. It's not just one thing. It's a whole bunch of factors coming together. But that's what makes it so fascinating to unpack, right?
Okay, so let's jump right in. We've got all your research right here, articles, market analysis, even some predictions from, well, the people who are supposed to know these things.
Oh, yeah, the pros.
Exactly. But before we get too into the weeds, paint the picture for us. How wild has gold actually gotten this year? Like, really?
Well, hold on to your hats because gold just smashed through another record. September 25th, it hit a crazy $2,659.41 per ounce.
$2,659. Whoa. Okay, so for people who don't follow gold every day, what did that actually mean?
That's almost a 30% jump since January.
Whoa. 30% in 9 months.
Yeah, it's been pretty intense.
That's like finding a $20 bill in your pocket every other week, except it's thousands of dollars, and it's gold.
Right.
So what is fueling this rocket ride? Is everybody suddenly buying gold bars instead of, I don't know, lattes? What's the deal?
I wish it were that simple. But it's not just about, the people suddenly deciding they need more gold. There's definitely this back to basics kind of feeling driving gold's rise. Like, remember when Bitcoin was going to be the new gold?
Oh, yeah.
Well, gold is reminding everyone why it's been a store of value for, centuries.
It's the original, right.
Exactly.
That whole safe haven idea. Like, when the economy feels shaky, people go to gold.
Yeah.
But is that really enough to explain these record highs?
It's definitely a big piece of the puzzle, for sure. I mean, when you look around, you've got inflation fears, stock market's a bit wobbly, and, well, who even knows what's going to happen in the U.S. election, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
So in times like this, investors, they start craving stability. And gold just represents that in a way that few other assets really can.
Right, it's like the ultimate security blanket, but made of precious metal.
Exactly. But there's more to it than just that. There are layers to this.
Ooh, I love layers. So if it's not just investors hiding under their, gold-plated beds, what else is going on?
Think bigger. We're not just talking about individual investors here. We're talking entire nations.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Central banks around the world, they are buying up gold like it's going out of style. They're diversifying their reserves, and gold is at the top of their shopping list. Think about it. When even countries are stocking up on gold, you know it's serious.
That is wild. So it's like you've got, regular investors, countries, everybody piling on to this gold bandwagon.
It's a global phenomenon.
Exactly. What I find really interesting is this isn't just some knee-jerk reaction to, kind of a shaky year. Looking at your research, this trend's been building for a while.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't a blip on the radar. It's a pattern. Remember, earlier this year, gold was already hitting records back in March, then May, August. Every time, it just kept climbing higher.
It's like it's on a staircase, just going up and up.
And there's a reason for that. I think there's a fundamental shift happening in how vital gold is becoming.
You mean besides the fact that it looks really good on jewelry?
Exactly. Gold isn't just a pretty face anymore. We're talking high-tech, green energy, the whole shebang. Did you know gold is now a super crucial component in everything from your smartphone to solar panels?
Wait, seriously? Our smartphones have gold in them. So all those people with their fancy new phones are accidentally fueling the gold rush. That's kind of poetic when you think about it.
It really is. And that's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about, fear-driven buying anymore. This is about steady, increasing demand that's being driven by industries that are only going to keep growing.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about, feeling safe. It's about actual real-world uses for gold.
Right. This isn't just speculation. This is about supply and demand at its most basic.
Okay, so we've got this perfect storm brewing, right? Economic uncertainty, countries making power plays, even our smartphones are in on it. It's like gold suddenly became the busiest little asset in the world.
It's become the ultimate multitasker.
But you know me, always thinking ahead. So what's next? What are the experts saying about the future of gold? Is this a bubble that's going to burst, Or are we strapping in for a long, wild ride? What do they think?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
A multi-million-dollar question at this point.
Right. But your research, it actually had some really interesting predictions from the folks who, actually get paid to try to predict the financial future.
Okay, hit me. What are they saying?
Goldman Sachs, the big guys?
Yeah.
They're calling for gold to hit $2,700 an ounce by, get this, early next year.
$2,700. Okay, now I'm starting to get a little gold fever myself. But what makes them so sure? I mean, is it just more of the same, more fear, more tech, repeat?
It's actually a little more nuanced than that, which I find really interesting. One of the biggest factors is, scarcity.
Oh, right. Because there's only so much gold on the planet.
Exactly. New gold discoveries, they're getting rarer. And the stuff we are finding, lower quality, less gold to go around, usually means a higher price tag.
That makes sense. It's like, what, the ultimate limited edition, except this edition has been running for centuries.
Exactly. And on top of that, you still have that industrial demand that we talked about. Smartphones, solar panels, electric vehicles, they all need gold.
They do.
And all of those industries, they're just booming. That demand, it's only going to go up.
It's not going away. So it's
Yeah.
not just about, feeling safe. It's about actual real-world uses for gold, right? This isn't some abstract thing. This is about supply and demand, very basic.
Exactly. Very fundamental economic principles at play here. And on top of all of that, we still have all those economic uncertainties we were talking about, right?
Right. Inflation, those geopolitical hotspots, the U.S. election, none of that is known for its stabilizing influence. Right. That's true. It's enough to make anybody want to bury some gold coins in their backyard, just in case. But I have to ask, because this is all fascinating, what does it all actually mean for, well, the people listening? Should they run out and buy gold bars? Or is this one of those look but don't touch kind of situations?
Here's the thing about gold. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not about timing the market perfectly or chasing the next, shiny thing.
Which, ironically, is what some people think gold is.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? Is it a good investment or not?
Honestly, it all comes down to individual circumstances. What's your risk tolerance? What are your long-term goals? Gold can be, a really valuable part of a diversified portfolio, but it's not a guaranteed ticket to, being rich.
Right. It's more about finding that balance, that peace of mind, knowing that you've got something tangible in a world that, often feels increasingly intangible.
Exactly. And honestly, that's something that's worth its weight in gold.
Okay, so we've spent this whole time talking about this gold rush that's happening right now in 2024.
Yeah.
We've got these record-breaking prices. Countries are, playing these geopolitical games. Even our smartphones are part of the story. It's enough to make anybody feel like, they just stumble onto some kind of treasure map.
And like any good treasure map, it always leads us to that one important question.
Which is?
Is this gold rush? Is it the real deal? Or is this like, a mirage in the middle of the desert?
The billion-dollar question.
Right.
So are we seeing, just a quick blip, or is this really a fundamental shift in how we think about gold?
Honestly, I think that's the question everybody is trying to figure out. You see it everywhere, from the analysts on Wall Street to just like everyday investors.
It's true. Everybody's talking about it.
And that's what I think is so interesting about it. There's no easy answer, no guarantees. It's kind of exciting in a way.
It's like the Wild West of investing.
Yeah.
So what's a listener to do? How do they make sense of all of this? Let's say somebody is listening and they're thinking, should I buy gold right now? What would you tell them?
I would tell them the same thing. I'd tell any of my close friends, don't let that fear of missing out, make you do something that you're not ready for.
Right.
Take a breath, look
Yeah.
at your own financial goals. But most importantly, do your homework.
Knowledge is power.
Right. Exactly. Really understand what's driving the price of gold. Understand your own risk tolerance. Maybe talk to a financial advisor. Explore all the different options. And then make a decision that, feels right for you.
Because like we always say, this isn't financial advice. This is a deep dive into some really cool information.
Exactly. We're just giving you the tools and the knowledge, and then you can decide what to do next.
Love it. So as we wrap up this gold adventure, what's that one thing you want our listeners to remember? If they forget everything else, what's the one takeaway?
I think the big takeaway is this. The story of gold, it's far from over. This isn't just about numbers on a screen. It's about history. It's about, psychology, all the big forces that shape our world. So stay curious, stay informed, and who knows, maybe you'll strike gold.
I love that. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, this has been a deep dive for the books, or maybe for, the gold vaults. Thank you to you, dear listener, for sending us all this awesome research. It's been a lot of fun. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the flip side for another deep dive.